Good afternoon, everyone, to the graduating class of April 2016. I'm Melinda Engstrom, and I had the honor and privilege to be this month's graduating class supervisor. We just momentarily are going to be introducing to you our graduating class. I'd like to ask if you could refrain from applause until the last graduate has walked into the room. We are lucky enough to have 11 with us today. To your left and to my right, we're going to begin with Lori Sharp and Rozzy. Emily Charles and Filene. Marron, Allen, and Pruitt. Nina, Saloya, and Fargo. Dean, Booker, and Houston. James St. John and Vern. Andrea Connor and Gretzky. Richard Smith and Kelley. Guillermo and Keely. Kathleen Smith and Frito. Elizabeth Suarez and Garmin. What they were just demonstrating was the command to the chair, which many of them had been practicing all week. Welcome, graduating class of April 2016. And now to open with opening remarks, I'd like to introduce our board chair, Wendy Agaletti.
Thanks, Melinda. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, celebrating not only these graduates' accomplishments, but also something we all share, an adoration of all things Guiding Eyes for the Blind. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our graduation co-sponsors who are in attendance today. Lisa Sinatra is here with her family, representing their fuel company located in Briarcliff Manor, New York, Emergency Services Fuel Corporation. They congratulate the graduates for April 2016 and give a special thanks to staff, volunteers, and puppy raisers of Guiding Eyes for producing such extraordinary dogs. They are deeply humbled to be part of this day. Best of luck to all of you from Emergency Services Fuel. And I'd like to add that they are the current foster volunteers of stud dog Vito. Sponsoring this graduation as well are Nicole Geit and June Fisher, and they have presented us and the graduates with a perfectly suited quote from Seneca, the Roman statesman. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. They want us to know that they are sponsoring this graduation in loving memory of the first dog Nicole raised, who changed the lives of many, and they are sponsoring this graduation in honor of the April 2016 graduating class, wishing them the best of luck with all their new beginnings. I can't continue, though, without adding that Nicole is a regional manager for 3 of our New York State regions for our puppy program, and raiser of Frito, who is graduating today. It's notable to mention that Nicole is a staff member, a puppy raiser of 12 dogs, a volunteer, and a donor. A donor. Sorry, can't do. Thank you to Nicole, June, and Emergency Fuel Services for supporting Guiding Eyes for the Blind and supporting this graduation. Many of our dogs are specially named, and you'll see in your program that one of today's graduating dogs, Gretzky, is specially named by Linda Mattel, and she is here, in memory of David Flatow, beloved husband, father, brother, and son. April 10th to 16th was National Volunteer Week. For Guiding Eyes for the Blind, this is no Hallmark holiday. On behalf of all our volunteer board of directors, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all 1,400 of our fellow volunteers. It's inspiring that we have 9 times more volunteers than staff. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our Director of Training, Kathy Zubricki.
Thank you, Wendy, and welcome everyone to this very, very happy occasion. And I'd like a show of hands. How many people are here for the first time? Oh, that's great. Well, as those of us who've been here before um, know that you're in for a very, very special day. And we wouldn't be able to celebrate this day if it weren't for some very special people, our puppy raisers. And I'd like to ask them all to please stand up. We couldn't do this work without without you. By opening your hearts and your homes to a guiding eyes for the blind puppy, for someone you had yet to meet but you knew needed you, it's just an amazing gift, and we're deeply grateful to all of you. Another reason we're here today is that Guiding Eyes is very fortunate to have an instructor staff that is made up of people who are talented, compassionate, driven, dedicated, with one goal in mind, and that is creating safe and successful guide dog teams. So I'd like to thank personally Kat, Kate, Andrea, Megan, Laurel, and Louise and Melinda for all you've done in making this class so very successful. You should be so very proud. Thank you. And we actually have a large group of instructors here today. It's not often that we have a home training instructor and a special needs instructor along with class, so we're very happy to have you guys here. And a special word about Louise. Louise joined the training staff very, very recently, and she just completed her 5-day under blindfold experience with this class in which she wore a blind. Love that. Love that. So for 5 days, she was under blindfold. She was assigned a dog, and she worked alongside of the rest of the class. And that's no easy feat. So congratulations, Louise. And Laurel, I'd like to thank Laurel for your support in making this class run so successfully. It couldn't happen without you. So thank you very much. And congratulations to our graduates. And we're all here to celebrate you and this wonderful accomplishment. You've worked very hard to get here. Take pride in knowing how far you've come. And in faith and with confidence in yourself and your new guide dog, there are no limits to how far you can go. We've enjoyed having you here. And please know that when you leave here, Guiding Eyes will always be ready to celebrate your successes, your joys, and help you in any way we possibly can. For you're now part of the Guiding Eyes family. And again, a round of applause for the graduates, please. So Mel, we have a program to start, right? We do. Great.
A portion of each graduating program is actually handed over to the graduates themselves. And I'd like to introduce our first graduate speaker is Guillermo Keely, who can come on up to the podium with his guide dog Keely. And Guillermo comes to us from Miami, Florida. And the first question he asked me when I talked to him on the phone was, uh, are we going to have snow up there? And I said, oh no, it's so rare in April. Well, the day he arrived on the plane, it was snowing. So
Stay there. Well, thank you. Thank you all so much for allowing me to be one of the speakers on behalf of my class this afternoon. Thank you, guys. Just 3 weeks later, we were leaving our homes, leaving our families, looking for a new opportunity and for the next steps in our lives. We boarded our airplane with our mind perplexed of questions, doubts, and fears. Yet we were led with our hearts and souls full of hopes and excitements, fully knowing that our destination beckoned a gift that will forever change our lives. And tomorrow, 3 weeks later, we are returning to our homes, but this time we are not flying alone, for we are returning with our new guide dog, our new best friend. But what did these amazing creatures truly represent for us, for the blind? In just a few words, they give us the opportunity of independent mobility, the sensation of freedom, which is a key concept for a blind person, to develop ourselves as individuals, simultaneously being independent and playing an interdependent role as part of our communities, as part of our families, being able to support ourselves and support our families, being able to give back and to contribute to the economy as any other citizen would. However, none of this was possible without being able to move independently, not at least until today, because we have now been given a gift that will grant us such freedom. And so finally, we want to thank all of you who make this magic happen. The instructors, the IAs, the CEO, Champanic, the admins, the nursing staff, the counselors, the board members, the kitchen staff, who are constantly attentive to our every needs and who made this entire process so seamless. Thank you. To the donors, without whom such an establishment wouldn't even exist, we thank you. And of course, to the puppy raisers. This is all possible because of you, dedicating so much time and effort to raise those cute puppies and letting them go. So that after 2 years of hard work, they're ready to give us this feeling of freedom. Thank you. Thank you to all of you because of your commitment to our excellence. Thank you once again. Tomorrow, we are going back home with new challenges to overcome. But this time, we are not going alone. This time, we are better prepared. Confucius once said, "It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." So now, we have a commitment with each of you who have worked so hard with us and with these amazing dogs that we will never stop. We will be going on a never ending process, looking for the next step, for the next goal. Thanks to you, we are returning with a great gift, an opportunity, and the commitment that will follow with each step we take forward. Our freedom, our guiding eyes. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Guillermo. Our next graduate speaker comes to us from outside of Dayton, Ohio, and that is Kathleen Smith. Kathleen was the sweet voice who laughed so easily in class and was so pleasant to everyone around her. This is her first guide dog, and we are so blessed that she came to us just like Guillermo.
Okay. I'm very sorry. I have to have cues. Um, I was completely independent and I took it totally for granted. And then 6 years ago, my life came crashing down around me in just a few months. I still have a small window of dark, waxy sight in one eye, and it's very light dependent. The winters in Ohio are much like the winters in New York, very long, very cold, and very dark. Outside by 4:30 p.m., I am totally blind. So I stayed inside the little apartment that I had moved to, and I kept all the lights on all the time. I entered what I considered a useless existence. Now, fast forward through several years of a tremendous amount of help, which I never accepted gracefully. Never. I was a caregiver, not a receiver. Then I hit a day and I decided that it was time to reestablish my independence. So I applied to and was accepted into the Guiding Eyes program. And here I am. It has been a very long 3 weeks. And I honestly don't believe I have ever worked as hard in my life for my life. But all of us had so much wonderful help. The instructors here are truly remarkable. We want to thank you all. Our supervisory instructor, Melinda, was a little serious, a little intimidating. She is the boss after all, until we all discovered her alter ego. Melinda is a homicidal van driving driver aiming traffic checks at unwary guide teams. Oh, but she had lots of help that day. Kate's shoes wouldn't stay tied. No, wouldn't stay tied. I was being set up very skillfully and right over my head. Thanks, Kate. You're welcome too. Kate and Kat were our main instructors, and we walked, we talked, we laughed, and we learned from them over what felt like countless miles in White Plains, Katona, Green Ridge, New York City, and of course here in Yorktown Heights. We were also blessed with Andrea, who was special needs instructor, but still found time to special each of us as needed. We also discovered that she is able to transform almost instantaneously into the most amazingly obnoxious little girl who danced around our dogs, clapping her hands and begging to play with them or pet them in obedience class. When firmly told no, she shocked us all into laughter with her hysterical shrieks of, "Mommy!" Louise is a newly promoted apprentice instructor who did spend the first week with us under blindfold, living our daily challenges with us. Laurel is an instructor's assistant. She has a very distinctive stride, and it gets her everywhere at once. Guiding Eyes also housed and fed us in grand style these last weeks. Thank you to the chefs and their staff, Nick, Jerome, Josh, Maria, Margaret, and Andrea. You trailed after all of us, putting up with our food foibles and serving up fun 3 times a day. Last, but certainly not least, especially to me, I'd like to thank the nursing staff for all of us. Marianne, Barb, Allison, and Stephanie. You handed out ice packs, aspirin, ibuprofen, and kindness. You were there whenever we needed, and often when we didn't know we needed you. Thank you all from full hearts. 3 weeks ago, I arrived at Guiding Eyes, excited and hopeful and so very nervous, kind of like now. Tomorrow, I will be going home with my first guide dog, Frito. I am still excited and hopeful and nervous, but now I can add determined because Frito and I have a new journey to embark on, and I'm no longer alone in the dark. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thank you, Kathy. Our last graduate speaker comes to us from local down in the city, and that's Elizabeth Suarez and Garmin. And Elizabeth has been here to Guiding Eyes before. She came back for a successor dog, and we're thankful that she returned to us.
Hi, everyone. Wow. I cannot top any of what Guillermo and Kathleen have just said, and including Kathy. Like Melinda said, this is my third dog. Um, I am very blessed to be here, and I would like to start by thanking our puppy raisers. Without our puppy raisers, raising these phenomenal dogs and taking their time, we really wouldn't be here. And our trainers who have day in and day out dealt with all of us. I know I can be difficult. And I'm always, Kat, Kate, I have a question. They gave me a quota. I had 5 questions a day. No longer. I'm not allowed. After 5, I'm done. I'm always learning, always, um, and always asking questions. And I've learned a great, great deal from each and every one of my fellow classmates. So thank you guys. Thank all of you. I would love to thank our kitchen staff because, as Kathleen pointedly put it, we were basically bothering them all the time. 3 weeks ago, I came here on a Monday, on my birthday, no less. And I got to sing happy birthday with a whole bunch of people who were just as nervous as me. And 3 weeks later, we're leaving with a new best friend, which is our wonderful guides who will help us on our journey home and help us succeed in life as an independent traveler, and some new friends that will last a lifetime. So thank you all, and congratulations to everybody. One more thing to show our appreciation for to all our trainers, our IA, our beautiful Louise, and our wonderful class supervisor. We all have special little gifts for everyone. So, Melinda, you're first. She runs away. This is for you. No problem. I think this one's Cat. Miss Cat. That one's yours, right? Kate. Yes, you, Andrea, is part of our world. Yes, mommy, always. And Louise. This is our family now, and we love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, graduate speakers. And now we'd like to make a presentation to another group of special people. And to do that, I'm going to introduce our Director of Puppy Programs, Linda D'Amato.
I just was checking to make sure there's tissues under here. Okay, so let me just start off and say that on behalf of the Guiding Eyes for the Blind Canine Development Center, I'd like to extend our very sincere and heartfelt congratulations to this graduating class. It's really a privilege to be here today and share the day with you. And also, I want to acknowledge all the people who are watching us from our YouTube streaming. So it's really special to be here. I always guarantee people who are here that you leave with your heart changed. And I think we heard from Guillermo, Kathleen, and Elizabeth that there's a lot of gratitude here in this room for every single person up front and all of our people who are here today. So thank you. I'd really like to thank our team, and you heard this before, but I want to say it again. Our 1,400 volunteers. Our volunteers, our generous donors, our amazing staff are so dedicated, and each role that they fill is something that we can't do without on the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy. So every single step of the way. And that means our brood stud fosters, early socializers, home litter care families. If we have one home litter care family, they take the whole litter home after they've been born, and they've had over 750 dogs in their home. So puppies, babies, that's like around the clock, kind of a thing. We have puppy sitters, region coordinators, who are the people out on the front line that you call when you get your puppy home and the puppy maybe is up a couple of times. Anybody relate to that in the middle of the night? And then we have volunteers here and in Patterson who do all of the transportation. We have 38 puppy raising regions, so they're driving people, dropping off dogs, picking them up, bringing them in. And we have administrative volunteers. I'm telling you, there's not one that we can do without. And so I'd like to ask all of you to stand up, all of the volunteers, because we want to acknowledge you. Thank you. I know that's painful for some people, but you deserve it. So I think now there's something really special that I get to do, and that's to introduce to you the puppy raisers. So I'd like to ask one person from each home that raised a puppy to come up and accept the certificate. And our first one is Guiding Eyes Fargo, raised by Kevin Blake in our Leatherstocking region. So a lot of times we have dogs that have been raised by 2 or more people. So Fargo actually had Alexandria Matat, also from the Leatherstocking region. So if you can see in the front, some of the times the dogs are actually following a person walking across the front of the room. So you might want to check that out later. Anyway, Emmeline Putnam from Monroe region raised Guiding Eyes Filene. Guiding Eyes Frito, raised by Nicole Geit and June Fisher from Orange County. Guiding Eyes Garmin was raised by Neil Minke. And Neil, I'm going to make sure I mention for the graduates' purposes who is not able to be here, even though we still want to acknowledge the puppy raisers. Wendy Minke and the entire Minke family also helped to raise Guiding Eyes Garmin. And they also weren't able to join us. Gretzky was raised by the Hodge family from Virginia Beach. The Lia family raised Guiding Eyes Houston. And they were not able to join us. Guiding Eyes Houston, also raised by Nick Pierre from Richmond, Virginia. And Nick was not able to be here. Guiding Eyes Keely, raised by the Naclario family from our Westchester region. Guiding Eyes Kelley, raised by the Newman family, Northern Connecticut region. Guiding Eyes Pruitt, raised by Jane and Lynn Waring from Northern Vermont. Oh, okay. Dan, so Jane and Lynn were not able to be here. Dan and Amy Muller from our capital region also helped to raise Guiding Eyes Pruitt. Okay. And Guiding Eyes Vern, raised by Carol and John Kavanaugh from Eastern Massachusetts. Did you mention home training? Okay. So we have another program which, do you want to explain the home training? Okay.
Yes. I'll hold. So in our graduating class, we're lucky enough to be represented, as Kathy Zabricki said, by our class program, our special needs program, which services people who have a disability in addition to blindness, and also our home training program, where we have students who are trained at home. And Lori Scharf, who, lucky for us, lives locally, and she is a home training graduate, and she was able to attend today's ceremony. The other two graduates who were not able to attend were Dorothy Murphy and Lia from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and Pamela Maida from Andmore, Pennsylvania.
A little switch here. So from our home training department, we have, as Melinda just said, 3 graduates. The first one is the Shaw family from Richmond, Virginia, who raised Guiding Eyes Lia. The Houghton family from the Finger Lakes region raised Guiding Eyes Maida. And Guiding Eyes Rozzi, raised by Barbara and Dick Lippert. So I just want to say to you, are they there? The puppies? Okay, I heard. Okay, so you won't hear a word I say after this. So, okay, listen up. So from small beginnings come great things. So I'd like to introduce to you Jimmy and Jetta, 2 future guide dogs. So these 2 characters are going to their puppy raisers today. And so I want to just tell you that if you're interested in raising a puppy and making a difference, to please come and talk to me afterwards. And it's an amazing journey. And these two, Jetta and Jimmy, are available for autographs after graduation. Dun-dun-dun. So they'll be at the end of the hallway in the grooming room, and you get to hold them and love them and smell puppy breath. Maria, who are our puppy handlers here? Audrey. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." And I'd like to say thank you for making a difference.
Thank you, Linda. Now, this is one of our favorite parts of the program, aside from the puppies coming through the door. And that's where we get to hand out diplomas to our graduates. Congratulations. And I'm going to announce where they're from, though it's in your program, but I always like saying it anyway. Lori Scharf and Rozzy from Malvern, New York. Congratulations, Lori. Emily Charles and Filene from Houston, Texas. Marron, Allen, and Pruitt from New Britain, Connecticut. And I'm going to miss Marron coming down the hall saying, "Good boy, Prue Prue." Nina Saloya and Fargo from Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. It was interesting because we have 2 Canadians in this class, and as I mentioned before, 1 person from Miami. So that first day, the Canadians were telling us this was like spring. And Guillermo was telling us, no, it was the coldest he'd ever been. Dean Booker and Houston from the Bronx, New York. James St. John and Vern from Nepean, Ontario, Canada, which is near Ottawa. Andrea Connor and Gretzky from Wakanda, Illinois. Richard Smith and Kelley from Montgomery, Alabama. Guillermo Baena and Keely from Coral Gables, Florida. Kathleen Smith and Frito from West Carrollton, Ohio. Elizabeth Suarez and Garmin from Corona, New York. I'd like to quote Nora Ephron, who said, "Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead." And so I say to all of you, go out and lead it well. You and your dog will have good days, challenging days, and days you learn a lot. But you will never be alone because you have each other. To the instructors who work so hard, Andrea and Kat, Kate, Megan, and Luis, our apprentice instructor, I want to acknowledge your service and everything you've done and all the hard days that you've put in, especially in class from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. actually. Feel like Dunkin' Donuts man, if you guys remember the old commercial. It's time to make the donuts, and he was going out the door as his self was coming back in. And I know that there were days that you felt that. And I think that we all agree, those of us who are lucky enough to work for Guiding Eyes, whether we're a staff or a volunteer, that working in a place where you feel like your life means something because you're giving of yourself and you're doing something for someone else, and the joy that is expressed in our graduates when they receive their dog, on the day they receive it, on the day that they take that first walk, or on the last day they take the walk in class. As Marron expressed yesterday when we were in FDR, and he said, I like to walk this way because it makes me feel that I can see again. Those are the moments. Those are the moments that we know such joy to have the jobs that we do. And to Laurel, who was our backbone, making sure that everything was in order and ready so that the instructors did not have to think about it, that she would get the students ready, get the vans ready. Laurel will also be conducting the tour a little later on. So Laura, I would like you to stand up and turn around so they can see you. Around 3 o'clock, that will be at 3 p.m. in the lobby. Down the hall, she'll be taking people on a tour of the kennels. But instructor assistants start out in our kennel across the way that you'll be seeing later. And they start in the job wondering if one day they would like to be an apprentice instructor. And so we try to immerse them as much as we can by having them float through our veterinary hospital, working in our kennel, and then attaching them to a team of instructors with whom they go out one day a week, and then they spend uh, in class. They're with us 5 days a week so that they can really see what's going on and decide if this is a life choice they would like to make. And I'm happy to say that most of the instructor assistants that walk through this door determined that this is a life choice that they would like to make. So again, thank you, Laurel, for everything you've done to support us. And now for some closing remarks. I'm going to quote Becky Barnes, who is our consumer manager, consumer outreach and support. She's not here today, but she always quotes to the graduates as you return home. So I'm going to channel her for a moment. There's an ancient saying in the wind that it only takes a first step to begin. You're on your way then, you've done the hardest part. Now make your journey with a generous heart. That's from Becky to you. So, um, and I concur with that wholeheartedly in every way. To the audience, I know that the puppy raisers in the audience are going to want to come up and see the graduates and reconnect with the puppy that you work so hard to raise. Uh, when you come up, you can stay either in this room or you can move down into the lobby or upstairs into the dining room where there will be cookies and cake and things to eat and drink. Also, the gift shop will be open, which is right outside Alumni Hall. That will be open till around 3:15. And at 3 o'clock, Laurel will be making announcements in the area that people can gather in the lobby, and she will take you on a tour to the kennel. I hope everyone has enjoyed this graduation, and I'd like to just end it with a round of applause for both puppy raisers, staff, and our graduates at the front of the room. Thank you. Graduates, you can take the harnesses off your dogs.